Hi all. This video is going to be about the practice workbook answers of chapter 2 lesson 2, that is about adding and subtracting inequalities. So get started with question number 1. Now do not worry, your number line not be the same as mine because the number line given to you is empty and you needed to write the number. So these are some number lines which I got, so it's not necessary that they need to be the same numbers. So it's totally like up to you how you draw the number line, all right? But the answer should be the same. So to start with, b plus 8 is greater than 15. Now, if you have not watched the explanation video and if you have not done any practice, do not watch this video because it's not going to help you. You have to go back to the lesson and then learn the lesson, practice few questions, then do the homework and check your answers are right or not. So to start with, this is going to be b is greater than 15 minus 8 because it's plus 8, so it becomes minus 8. 15 is greater than 7. Now we need to graph it. Yes, this has to be like so. Okay, now your number line can start with 0, your number line can start, it really depends on how many lines have they given here. I hope they have given the exact number of lines because it will be easy. Well, it doesn't matter if you have got b is greater than 7 and you have graphed it right. So to graph this, I start from by drawing a circle on 7, and then all what I will do is I will just extend my arrow to the other side, showing that all the values which are greater than 7 can be b. B can be 8, b can be 9 or 10. So that's why wherever the inequality, the arrow line is showing, all these numbers can be solutions for this b, the value of b. So similarly, the same thing we are going to follow here. b is going to be greater than or equal to negative 2 plus 5. So negative 2 plus 5 is going to give me a positive 3 because 5 minus 2, so yeah, it's going to give me a positive 3. So how am I going to graph it? So this says t is greater than or equal to, so draw a circle on top of 3 and then you will have to decide which side is the arrow going to be. Is it going to be to the right or to the left? Right or left? Okay, so this shows greater, which means it needs to be right, which means t can be um, 4, 5, 6, but hold on, it says equal to, which means it can be 3 also. So we shade 3 as well. So the inequality graph should be like that. Let's move to the next question. Well, these are quite easy questions. So x is greater than or equal to 1 plus 4. So x is going to be equal to or greater than 5. So to graph, all what you are going to do is from 5 you start drawing the circle, shade it because it says it's equal to. So 5 also can be a solution and it goes to the right. Any number greater than 5. So that means it can be 6, 7, 8. Just draw the arrow. That's it. Well, there are two arrows here because one I drew for the number line. The number line should have an arrow as well. So because here this number line which I chose does not have the arrow, that's why I drew. But the inequality graph is the long one. Well, for this is the solution can be done mentally. This is 2 minus 8, which means g is less than negative 6. I hope you don't even need to do these steps, as you might be able to do them mentally now. So g is less than negative 6. So negative 6 I start with. I do not shade because it doesn't say equal to. So negative 6 cannot be a solution. So it goes to the left, which means I go to the left too. So that means all the solutions, what are the solutions for g? G can be negative 7, it can be negative 8, or it can be negative 9 also, or any number towards the left of the number line. It can be negative 10 too. Okay, so this question here, negative 9 plus 9 is going to be greater or equal to m. So this is in fact going to be 0 is greater than or equal to m, which means m is less than or equal to 0. means if 0 is greater than m, means m is less, right? So remember I told you, I've been always telling you keep the variable in front. So what happens is the sign switches. M is less than or equal to 0, which means m is the m is a number less than 0, because they said less, or it can be 0 also. So draw it on 0. Now this they said less, so we go to the left to show that all the less numbers can be solutions for m. So maybe possible m can be -3 also. So that's why we show like that. Now this is again going to be 15 minus 19 is greater than d, which means it's plus 19. So we need to subtract 19. So this is going to give us a -4 is greater than a d, which means d is going to be less than -4, right? Because if -4 is greater than d, so how can d be -3? No, of course not. So d is going to be less than -4. So how do I graph? Draw the circle. Don't shade it because -4 is not a solution. So your line starts from -4 to the left. So there you go. You're done with almost 3/4 of the homework within minutes, right? Because it's easy. Right, let's discuss these problem solvings. Jessica makes overtime pay when she works more than 40 hours. So always keep in mind you need to underline the keywords or the important words. Here they said she works more than, which means by now you need to realize that the sign should be greater than. Greater than, more than, they mean the same. 40 hours in a week. So far this week she has worked 29 hours. So she has worked 29 hours and she will continue to work H hours. So for now she has worked 29 and she will still work. So does that denote plus or minus? She will continue. Continue means does that give us plus or a minus sign? That is of course plus because she will keep working. Plus H, because H is the number of hours she will work. So it should be more than 40 hours. Only then she will get the overtime pay. So H is going to be greater than 40 minus 29. So H is going to be greater than 11, right? So she has to work for more than 11 hours to get the overtime pay. So H can be 12. She can work for 12 hours. She can work for 11.5 hours. Only if she works, she will get her overtime. So how are we going to graph this? Now again, it's totally up to you how you have chosen the number line to be. I choose it to be this way. Unless you get this correct, there is no problem. Okay, so just let it be that much. I don't know how many lines they have given in your book. So according to that, you can start and name it. So it says H is greater than 11. So which means I start from 11. Now greater than means it can be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that means my arrow should show the greater numbers. Do I shade it? Of course not, because it does not say equal to. So I am not gonna shade that. Okay. This question says Henry's MP3 player has 512 MB of memory. He has already downloaded 287 MB and will continue to download M more megabytes. Okay, so more means you need to know it is going to be plus. These are keywords in problem solving. Write and solve an inequality that shows how many more megabytes can he can download. So how much is the capacity? The capacity is 512 MB. He has already downloaded 287 and he will still continue to download M more. So can I write the equation in this form? 287 he has already downloaded and he will still download. So that's M, they said more megabytes, should be less than or equal to 512. Now why did we choose less than or equal to? Because the capacity means the maximum is 512. You cannot do more than that. So it can be equal to 512 so or less than 512. So to solve this, These problem solvings, if you do not understand, keep reading them 3-4 times, you will understand them. Reading doesn't mean just to read them orally, you have to understand and read them. Okay, so 512 minus 287 is going to give us 225. So he could download another 225 megabytes or less than 225 megabytes. So this is how you have to write the inequality and solve. Okay, the last question. Okay, Eleanor needs to read at least. Now this word at least says it should be equal to or greater than. At least means it cannot be less than that, so it has to be more, which means greater or equal to. 97 pages of a book for homework. She has read 34 pages already. Write and solve an inequality that shows how many more pages she must read. So they said she has read already 34 and still she has to read more P, right, to complete 97. So at least means from that we found out that it's going to be greater than 97. Right, this is how you inequality should be. So she has already read 34 and she has to read some more, so plus some more is should be greater or equal to 97. So P is going to be greater or equal to 97 minus 34, which means P should be equal to or greater than 63. So which means she has to read at least 63 pages or more than 63 pages. So there you go. That was your homework. A very easy one and a very short one too. But definitely, if you think you can do more, that's perfectly fine. So if you have done anything wrong, that's perfectly fine too. You will try to do it again. Do it 2 times, you will understand what's the mistake you have done. As I always say, practice is the only way to make it perfect. So keep practicing till we meet again.